Okay, this week we're studying Unit 6, which is a review of the past 5 lessons. So I've posted here in our video the words for Lesson 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Please make sure you go back and look at your flashcards or your previous packets so that way you can review the words that you already have learned in this unit. Okay, you can see here that Unit 1, our root words were graph, which meant write. The words were autograph, graffiti, graphite, paragraph, and telegraph. We also had the prefix ear and non, which both mean not. Those words were irrational, irregular, irrelevant, non-existent, and nonverbal. If you need to review these definitions, please go back to the Week 1 video to hear me read them. The unit Lesson 2 root word was photo, which means light. Those words were photocopy, photograph, photon, photosynthesis, telephoto, and the prefixes were im, in, or ill, which all mean not. Incapable, ineligible, imbalance, illiterate, and illogical were the words for Lesson 2. Go back to the Lesson 2 video to hear me read these definitions if you need them. Lesson 3, our root word was cred, which means believe. Those words were credential, credible, creditor, creed, incredulous. Then we had the prefix de or dis, which both mean opposite or against. Those words were displace, disgrace, decode, deprive, and decline. Again, go back to the Lesson 3 video to hear me read these definitions if you need to review. Lesson 4, our root word was odd or audi, which both mean hear. Those words were audible, audience, audio, audition, auditorium. The prefix for Lesson 4 was anti, which means opposite or against. Sometimes it's pronounced anti. So we have antidote, antisocial, antipathy, antiseptic, or antibody. Remember, go back to Lesson 4 if you need to hear me read these definitions to review. Last week we studied Lesson 5, which had the root word ped, pod, which both mean feet. Those words were pedestrian, pedicure, pedometer, podiatrist, and tripod. We also had the prefix counter, contra, which both mean opposite or against. Those words were counterfeit, counterpart, counteract, contradict, and contrary. Please go back to the Lesson 5 video to hear me read these words' definitions if you need them. Our Lesson 6 unit review looks a little bit different than our usual packets. It starts off with 2 big crossword puzzles where you need to fill in the word that matches the definition. Let's take a look at those clues. For this crossword puzzle, we have some across clues. Number 2, group of people watching or listening. 7, device to measure steps. 8, lender. 10, shiny black substance used in pencils. 11, stand for camera with 3 legs. 14, a green plant is exposed to light. 15, signature of a famous person. 18, pictures or words painted on a wall or building. 19, treatment to improve feet. 20, a part of a piece of writing. 23, person walking along a road. 24, camera lens. 25, able to be heard. We also have some down clues. 1, able to be believed. 3, not able to believe something. 4, foot doctor. 5, outdated system of sending messages. 6, statement of beliefs. 9, large room for gathering to hear. 12, picture made by a camera. 13, paper copy of document. 16, tiny particle of light. 17, quality, skill, or experience. 21, a short performance to show talent. And 22, relating to sound. Let's look at the next crossword puzzle. This is all prefixes. So let's look at the definitions. 2, across. These are the across definitions. 2, to say the opposite. 4, has same job or purpose. 5, strong dislike. 7, fake copy. 10, take position or job of. 11, not able to speak. 14, legally disqualified. 16, not having the necessary skill. 18, not thinking clearly. 19, kills bacteria. 20, not important or relating to now. 21, opposite fact. 22, cause to feel ashamed. 23, stops a poison. Now the down clues. 1, not friendly to people. 3, find true meaning. 6, become worse. 8, not real or present. 9, not allowed to have. 12, unequal amounts. 13, unreasoning, not sensible. 14, lack of knowledge. 15, act against something. 17, not normal or usual, not regular. 19, produced by body to fight disease. Now notice the first crossword puzzle had words that contained the roots that we learned. This crossword puzzle only has words that contain the prefixes we learned. Part C, fill in the blanks. Number 1, the directions. Read each sentence and choose the word that best fits the sentence. Number 1, the boys lined up in front of the locker room in hopes of getting the athletes blank. Paragraph, graphite, autograph, telegraph. Number 2, the police arrested the young man after discovering that the blank was his. Graffiti, graphite, autograph, paragraph. Number 3, Mrs. Cooper asked us to write a blank about our favorite vacation. A, graphite, B, autograph, C, paragraph, D, telegraph. With no mass and no electrical charge, a blank will travel at the speed of light when in empty space. Photograph, telephoto, photosynthesis, photon. Brian had a meet and greet with one of his favorite hockey players, and he made sure his mom took a blank so that he could show his friends. Telephoto, photosynthesis, photocopy, photograph. 6. The key blank required to earn her trust is patience. A, credible, B, credential, C, creditor, D, creed. 7, he had no idea what he wanted to do with his life, but he knew he didn't want to be a blank like his father. He hated asking people for money. Credential, creed, incredulous, creditor. Even though Allison knew her local paper was a blank source, she still did not believe the news that her childhood school was closing. Credible, credential, creed, incredulous. Number 9, hearing the blank roar with laughter is one of the comedian's favorite things. Auditorium, audience, audition, audio. There was no blank with the silent film, just subtitles. Audio, audience, audition, audible. Number 11, John swerved to avoid a blank walking along the side of the road. Pedometer, podiatrist, pedestrian, pedicure. 12, Grandpa desperately needs a blank. His toes are in awful condition. Pedometer, pedicure, pedestrian, tripod. 13, all of the information I studied was completely blank to what was actually on the test. Non-existent, irrelevant, irrational, irregular. 14, I returned the blank shirt when I realized one sleeve was shorter than the other. Irrelevant, irregular, non-existent, nonverbal. 15, my desire to do aerobic exercise is totally blank. I have none. Irrational, non-existent, nonverbal, irregular. 16, many of the students who came to the campfire were blank and couldn't read the campfire stories themselves. Illiterate, imbalance, ineligible, illogical. 17, it seemed blank to Jen that Peter wanted an ice cream cone on a freezing winter day. Imbalance, illogical, ineligible, incapable. Matt's little brother was blank to ride the roller coaster because he was too short. Incapable, illiterate, imbalance, ineligible. 19, Lexi has been pretty blank her whole life and has never really enjoyed parties. Antipathy, antisocial, antibody, antiseptic. 20, Even under the microscope, it was tough to see the tiny blank in the blood. Antidote, antipathy, antiseptic, antibody. 21. She welled with blank when he mentioned how much he hated her mother. Antipathy, antisocial, antibody, antidote. 22. Such a blank that you cannot eat spaghetti without getting sauce all over your face, his mother proclaimed. Displace, disgrace, deprive, decline. 23. Isaiah knew his sister had been coming into his room because of the number of gumballs in his gumball machine was starting to disgrace, deprive, displace, decline. 24. I knew better than to blank my teacher, even if he might be wrong. A. Counterfeit, contradict, contrary, counteract. 25. You can go to jail if you try to pay with blank bills. Contradict, counterpart, contrary, counterfeit. Let's look at part D. Antonyms or synonyms. Read each pair of words and decide if they are synonyms or antonyms. All the way down, choice A says synonyms and choice B says antonyms. I'm just going to read the pair of words. Audible and silent, audience and crowd, audio and sound, audition, demonstration, auditorium, theater, credential, refusal, credible, reliable, creditor, donor, creed, doctrine, incredulous, sincere, photocopy, original, photograph, snapshot, photon, subatomic particle, illiterate and brainiac, illogical and senseless, irrational and clear thinking. 42. Irregular, typical, irrelevant and unimportant, non-existent and real, nonverbal, talkative, pedestrian, driver, pedometer, step counter, tripod, camera stand, counterpart, coworker, contradict, confirm. Choose whether those words for each question are synonyms or antonyms. And our last part, E, roots and prefixes. Write the meaning for each root or prefix on the line provided. Graph, anti, counter, photo, day, ill, ear, odd, oddie, contra, dis, in, im, cred, non, ped, pod. Now I think that would be a really great thing to study once I have them written down. Remember, you can pause and go back to any part of this worksheet on this video to hear me read those words again. Pause when you need to complete the activity.